The Mayo Experience.
That Mayo Experience. That Mayo Experience. That Mayo Experience. Experience.
Welcome to the Pat Mayo Experience Week 15 recap, waiver wire pickups, injuries, viewer questions, and I've gone ahead and ranked the best streaming quarterbacks for Week 15 and Week 16, plus a full complement of defense rankings for Week 15 and Week 16. Just streamers for quarterback, full rankings for defenses if that's something you want to get out ahead. Because with defenses, ownership is just kind of all over the place that we don't really know. So I do recommend that everyone, please, smash the like button before we get into anything. And I have some giveaway winners of $20 DK dollars for the week. I just submitted them, so they should be there within the next 365 days, and you'll be fine. The winners, Doovie17, The Architect 00, Pig Bear Man, Tysell, Zanzir Golden, Stoylov, Millgate, Blade 6, and Edub1221 are the winners of $20 DK dollars. Chris Meaney is in studio with me.
Pig Bear Man.
Pig Bear, not Man Bear Pig, but no. Pig Bear Man.
Pig Bear Man. Nice. Always some good names there.
If you hit the comment section of this video or just go to my DraftKings page, my Twitter, you can follow along with the cheat sheet. All the pickups are in there. We updated after the Monday night game, or if something like major happens this afternoon, I'll probably update it. The only one I'm looking at right now is the severity of the Tyreek Hill injury, whether or not I bump up Chris Conley or not. But
Thursday night game too. You wonder if it's such a huge game.
And he came back and played played well.
Yeah, he did play well. It's probably just one of those things he's going to have to play with the rest of the season, play through it, and maybe not up to full health, but he was great on that final play where Patrick Mahomes extended that play. My goodness, it was awesome.
Well, if you want to get into it, oh boy. Boy, it's Monday morning, man. It's tough.
It's rough.
I don't know what's going on.
Yeah.
Either way, if you want to get into a draw for $20 DK dollars this week, there are two ways to do it. One, like I mentioned, smash the like button. Two, leave your DraftKings handle in the comment section. Not the live chat, the comment section. We'll get to your viewer questions a little bit later on. And tell me which two defenses you would pick up right now. Week 15, Week 16. Those are the two.
Okay.
Because you can stash defenses now.
Sure.
It's not that big of a deal.
No, you can do it. I benched the Rams yesterday, or the Bears yesterday in one of my leagues.
For who?
The Steelers. I got 8 points. It didn't end up being the difference, but I posed that question on Twitter last night just to see how many people went a different way. It worked out for some people, like the Giants were a defense that you could have streamed and still picked up Sunday morning, last minute, because I don't know why they were so available and also cheap on DraftKings too.
I wasn't even really
Sanchez.
thinking of the Giants. I really should have been.
You had $2,500 on DraftKings. They were a solid price, and it worked out because, Sanchez and that offense they were pretty bad yesterday.
The other way to get into the draw for $20 DK dollars is go to the iTunes, Spotify, Stitcher, whatever is the audio podcast. Don't want to forget our audio podcast.
Right.
We're still in the race for 10 million downloads.
Got to get there.
It looks like we're going to come up short.
Oh, really?
Yeah, it looks like
just short.
It looks like we'll come like 100,000 short.
Oh, wow.
Which is only like a few episodes.
Really? That's, just
maybe I can back pad the year and
Yeah.
we'll fudge the numbers to get there. Like, I released 17 shows today.
A couple over the holiday season.
So if you go rate, review, subscribe, 5 stars, something nice about the show, which is not my voice right now, and your DraftKings handle in the comment section, and boom, you will be in the draw. We announce the winners every Monday. We'll do a show next week, I think.
Yeah, why not?
I was thinking about not doing a show because it's Week 16, because if I give you waiver wire pickups, I'm going to do the ranking show the next day.
Yeah.
That'll be up before waivers, so what's the difference? Kind of thing.
At this point of the season, it's tough. You're really not picking up anybody off the waivers, although you could be in a situation. Who knows? People out there playing. I played in 16-team leagues. I've had to start scrubs over the past couple weeks.
Maybe all your running backs are hurt. You didn't get any of the quote-unquote good ones from last week.
Yeah, those ones that were hot off the waiver wire and, really didn't show up. And Jeff Wilson Jr. at least had some carries and some touches.
He had volume.
Yeah, he had.
Samuels was better.
And real no surprise that he got a lot of work in the passing game. Like, this is something that he's done in college.
That's what he does.
Yeah, that's exactly what he does.
Second on the team.
Yeah, and Justin Jackson I thought would get a little bit more play. Completely wrong about that. I felt like I was driving the Justin Jackson bus over the past couple weeks as a stash, and if anything had happened to Melvin Gordon, it's somebody I talked about for a while because Gordon had always been hurt. I drove that bus right off the cliff yesterday.
That was the end of it.
That was the end of it because he just didn't touch the ball. He looked 7 carries. I think he had a couple catches, but most of his work came when Eckler came out of that game late.
Did you find anyone who, playing against you or in any of your leagues that played Derrick Henry?
No. I had to play Derrick Henry in one league, so I lucked out, and I hate to be that guy because I was saying to myself, there's no way anyone played Henry, but listen, I was in a situation where I lost Kareem Hunt, obviously.
Didn't get Ware.
No, I had Ware. I had to play Hunt and Ware. Like, my league had just, the team just went to shambles. Like, Hyde got traded. So he was useless to me. And then Alex Collins went on IR, and he was useless to me. And I had Hunt, who left, and then I just had Ware and Henry. So I was like, I got to play Henry. Played Henry the week before, got me like 5 points. I said, great, I'm going into my matchup this week with Derrick Henry and Spencer Ware. I'm not going to do any damage. Like, I just squeaked out, too, with 50 points from Henry. But no, I didn't go up against him, thankfully.
We are in a battle here.
Yeah, we are.
So you and I run a team together. I felt like we've talked about it most of the year.
Yeah.
We're in this League of Leagues team. We're up against the Miz.
Yes.
Stupid Miz. Killing us.
He was brutal in baseball, but he's got himself a team in football.
I did not expect Jordan Howard to get him 10 points.
I know. I didn't either. Over 100. He had, 101 yards?
So we are up by 11 going into Monday night. He has Russell Wilson. We have Chris Carson.
Yeah.
Touchdown, we should be good.
Touchdown, we should be good. If he could just fall into the end zone, absolutely. And you know what? The Vikings defense pretty solid. I know they haven't been playing great football lately, but still
good rush
pretty
defense
solid.
Is the problem.
Yeah, that's a huge problem, actually.
So let's just hope Seattle's defense shows up and they're like, oh, we don't need to pass.
Yeah, and Carson's got that bum thumb, so he's not going to get any catches, probably not. It's going to be Davis and Penny sprinkled in there.
We need to. I feel like we're underdogs here.
Close,
but we're underdogs.
We should be underdogs. Kittle saved our bacon.
Kittle and Dak saved
and
us
Dak.
big time.
And I remember texting you yesterday. We were back and forth with Kittle, and he's just been unbelievable for us all year. We're gonna have to keep him. He's like a 40th round pick for us, man.
How are we doing in basketball?
We're in the middle of the pack, 5th, 6th. We were 5th before last night. I didn't check this morning.
If we can get this win this week,
yeah.
I mean, we might need
then
to
we'll
win.
We'll finish in the top 4.
Top 4. We finished 3rd in baseball, 4th in this, and we're top 6 in basketball. We need to make a run. Yeah. Stupid Jonah is just killing everyone.
He is.
And he has the bye.
He has the bye. He's made some significant moves lately, and he's doing pretty well in basketball as well. And he rocks baseball every year. I think we came 2nd last year, and he came 3rd or 1st in baseball. It's been
this year
the same
he came
thing
1st, we came 3rd.
Yeah, it's been the same thing. But.
So the end of the games.
Yeah.
Was that the best 30-minute stretch of football all year? Because action, I was watching at the bar that we always go to, and it exploded on that Dolphins play.
That was unbelievable.
I didn't know what was going on because there's like 8 TVs on at once, and I was watching. The Jets were 4th and goal at the exact same time.
Yeah.
And they ended up getting in with Cannon.
Yeah. Yeah.
And then this play is going on. Like, I wasn't completely aware that it was the last play of the game. I thought there was like 20-something seconds left. I was like, oh, hook and ladder before the last play. Savvy move. And then all of a sudden, Drake's gone.
Drake's gone. Yesterday was a weird game a weird day from some games, but a lot of entertaining football games. And I was even entertained last night watching the Sunday night football game. There's no points. I was just because I like to see some defense. Like all year we've been talking about offense.
Was that defense or was that just shit quarterback play?
It was some bad quarterback play from both teams, but it was some really good defense from the Chicago Bears. Like all year I've been talking about where's the defense and who are the teams that can shut out these high-powered offenses like the Saints. We saw Dallas a couple weeks ago, and then last night the Rams, who score 30 points at will every single week. Gurley has a game every single day. And the Bears shut them out. But yeah, that Pats finish was unbelievable. That was so cool. And Gronk on the field, like I felt like he had the angle at first, and then you see from a couple different side angles, he moves over just slightly a little bit as the play's going on, and then he trips up over his own feet, and then Drake is just gone. That was very entertaining.
The question is, why is Gronk on the field to begin with?
Should not have been on the field.
If there's a jump ball in the end zone, you put out your tallest guy who can catch the ball.
Yeah, but he's the slowest.
Fine, he's slow, but if it's just a jump ball in the end zone, he just has to stand there.
Yeah.
But Tannehill wasn't throwing the ball 80 yards.
No, absolutely
not.
What's
going on?
That was entertaining. The Bills game at the end.
The Bills game was actually fun all the way through.
There was a lot of red zone plays in that game, more than I thought. There was some points scored.
We had some fun because we had Cuss on, and Cuss was all disappointed. He was making excuses for Sam already. Then he got pulled from the game. We were making fun of him. Then he came back and actually played really well.
He did play well.
The throw he made, Cuss called the play transcendent when he was getting chased around and then threw to an open Robbie Anderson. His best throw of the game was near the end when he hit Robbie Anderson right down the sideline.
Right down the sideline.
Just dropped it right. That was an excellent pass.
He's had a couple passes like that. There was one that stands out to me against Denver when he dropped one on Robbie Anderson. I thought it was a beautiful pass. The one where he extended, that was a really good play. He extended that play. He moved around, and yeah, he made a nice play in the end zone. I think that one was to Robbie as well.
That was the one he called transcendent.
Yeah, transcendent.
I mean, I feel like we see plays like that almost every week. I know he ran a lot.
We do, but I guess the thing is we haven't seen a lot of great plays from him. I think he missed 3 games and still led the league in picks.
Yeah.
Like heading into yesterday.
We have a bet with Tim every single week that Darnold will throw and pick on one of his first 10 pass attempts. This week it was his 11th pass attempt. So Tim won the bet for the first time he's ever made the bet. I believe he was 0-4 coming into the week.
A lot of entertaining football games yesterday,
and then the KC Ravens game, me sitting here with stupid Baltimore money line, thinking it's going to look great. Game goes exactly how I thought it would go.
Yeah, me too.
And Lamar turns it over.
Yeah, I was on the.
They got the second chance.
They got the second chance. I was on the Ravens with the spread, and I'm in a pool where you pick your own spread. And it was KC by 3. I was really close to joining you on the money line with Baltimore.
I had both, but it was just
and they were right there.
It would have been a nice hit.
They were right there.
I don't want to say that they should have won, but they played KC exactly how.
Exactly.
You know who would be a really bad matchup for Kansas City? The Bills.
The Bills. Yes, the Bills would be. Baltimore. They're still going to probably squeak into the playoffs.
Hopefully. I'd like to see them in. They can do damage.
They could do damage, and this is a learning experience from Lamar Jackson. Kansas City was really just prove it. They were playing, stacking the box and saying, "I just go ahead, man. Try to beat us with your arm." And he made a couple throws, and
he wasn't terrible.
He wasn't terrible. The inexperience got to him a little bit, the pressure on the weak side, pressure on the weak side, and you can't turn it over. But the defense played well, which is no surprise. They ran the ball. I mean, there was one drive there was 13 plays they ran every single time.
And that's what they needed to do every single
drive.
drive.
So they were successful on the ground. They used their tight ends, all of them. And that's the way that they want to play football, and they're not going to change, and they shouldn't change their style of play.
I don't think it's a recipe for a lot of extended success, but against a team like Kansas City, that is the game plan that you need to go in
Absolutely,
with. It's a lot like, I guess Tampa controlled the Saints game for a bit, which I still couldn't figure out. I was watching it, I was like, how are the Saints winning here? Then they blocked that punt. All of a sudden, game over.
Isn't it amazing how things like that turn? I mean, we saw the Saints on Thursday. They couldn't do anything offensively. Nothing. I think Brees had 39 yards at half. And then it was very similar yesterday, too. Couldn't do anything. And then a special teams play just turns the whole momentum around from the entire game because nobody was having great. Like, Thomas had a few catches at the end, but Alvin Kamara wasn't great yesterday. It was just okay. And Ingram had that touchdown at the end. But, nothing was really working for New Orleans up until that punt. And then the other game was Dallas and Philadelphia. That was entertaining as well. The Eagles couldn't move the ball at all in the first half.
Are you saying it was more entertaining than Lions Cardinals?
Man, that game was tough to watch.
I watched it. Well, here was
especially I was on Arizona.
I got a few tweets from people who took down some pretty significant money this week. The cheat sheet for the first time all year, very good.
Nice.
Recommended Dak, recommended Cooper, T.Y. Hilton. It was the lower end running backs that kind of screwed everyone, but I double paid up at a lot of spots. Talked about that with Jeff Ulrich on Friday, that everyone was paying down so much with Samuels and Jeff Wilson and Jackson and Blunt that if you just double paid up at running back, no one was really going to do that. And as long as you didn't take Kamara, you were good.
Yeah.
Whether you had Barkley, Zeke, or Christian McCaffrey. 2 of those people. And then you could jam in your cheap quarterback, Dak.
Yeah, Dak
a lot of people went with Josh Allen, and it's just take Dak. It'd be 1% owned.
That's the thing. I was on the footballers, I suggested Dak, and I was going to go Josh Allen, and I just kind of sprinkled in his name a little bit, but they were the same price, right? They were right around the same price, so you just take the upside in Dak.
I think no price, no ownership involved. I probably would have went with Josh Allen, but I knew he was going to be the highest owned QB.
Yeah, and that's what's tough. It was contrarian to spend up at the running back position, and this time of the year,
take the guys who get the volume.
Jeff
studs. Wilson was the best. He didn't have the most points,
but he was
the guys down at the bottom. But he was the best play.
Yeah, he had all the touches. And for Zeke heading into this past week, he had just passed Gurley in terms of touches. And what do you have? 40 touches yesterday, 28 carries and 12 catches, 12 or 13. Definitely 13 targets at least. Yeah. So Zeke is just, man, that trade. We joke about it. Maybe they could have got maybe they could have given up a second round pick for a Cooper.
At this point,
I don't know who was offering. No, they shouldn't care. They won 5 straight games. They're going to make the playoffs. They look good.
Would
Their
you trade,
defense
would you
is
trade
awesome.
a first-round pick just to make the playoffs, though? Like, they need to do something, don't they?
Sure, because they're the Cowboys and they want to win a game, but they also haven't, hosted a playoff game in quite some time, I don't believe.
No, they will this year.
They will this year, and they have the defense to compete.
Are the Eagles done? Or are they, like, technically still in it?
They're technically still in it because Carolina lost as well, and Seattle or Minnesota is going to lose. Those are two teams that are holding the wild card, Seattle and Minnesota. One of those teams are going to lose today.
Or they can tie again.
Or they could tie. So Minnesota would have six wins, 2 ties. So say Minnesota loses, then Philly and Carolina, they're all a game back. Even Green Bay, game and a half back.
Oh, my God, Green Bay. Get them out of there.
I agree. They're playing Chicago this week. They'll lose.
They'll probably win.
Nah, Bears are for real.
The Bears were so for someone was
Imagine Trubisky 110 yards and a couple picks, and they still win that football game.
true, but like I know Chase Daniel started last week, but even just on like a thread I'm on, like one of my friends is very casual to football. He's
Yeah.
like, the Bears must be like a top 2 team now. Like they lost to the fucking Giants last week. Like, let's calm down.
They did lose to the Giants,
And their defense didn't look so hot in that game.
It didn't. No, I guess the thing is they're going to host a game 2 at home in the playoffs. That's going to be a tough place to go in and win a football game in the cold.
Are they in the playoffs if they have to go to Los Angeles? Can they beat the Rams in Los Angeles? Can they beat the Saints in New Orleans?
No, I wouldn't give them the benefit of the doubt to beat the Saints in New
If you were
Orleans.
Seattle, would you rather play Dallas or Chicago?
I would rather play.
They've already beaten.
Wow, yeah,
they've already
that's a
beaten the
good
Cowboys,
question.
but that was old Cowboys pre-Cooper
Yeah,
and pre this defense being just like lights out awesome.
I'm really feeling the Cowboys. It makes me sick. I always feel like they'll choke, and that's the Eagles say. They'll go in there and they'll choke, and they almost did. Dak did everything to try to give that game away, and that's the problem to me is Dak. Like and probably it'll be Trubisky too. When the game's on the line and you're going head to head against Drew Brees or Goff in that offense, probably not going to be able to get the job done. But for Dak, it's every single week with this guy. The fumbles, the interceptions, the bonehead plays. Like, he did everything to try to give that game up.
How is it that he can hit Amari Cooper in stride perfectly every single time?
Yeah.
But Michael Gallup's wide open and just overthrows him by 50 yards.
And couldn't throw a 50-50, a jump ball to Dak in the end zone to Dez over the past couple of years. Like, couldn't find Dez on those red zone plays when it was one-on-one, like those fade routes too. They couldn't. I don't know what it is, but for Cooper, I mean, everything is just working right now for this guy in that offense, and Zeke looks good, and I'm completely buying into what they're doing defensively. I think they're solid.
AFC, the Dolphins. Watch out for the pesky Dolphins, who are not good, by the way.
Hanging around. We talked about them last week. 6-6. Wow, hanging
7-6,
around.
yeah.
I know, but last
Yeah.
week we were like 6-6, and then they beat the Patriots.
They go Vikings, Jags, at Bills to end the year. Like, those could be 3 losses for them.
It could be 3 losses. It could be 3
wins.
wins. It really could. It could be in Minnesota, right? That'll be
In Minnesota, in Buffalo, at home against Jacksonville.
Yeah, that'll be a tough one for them to go into Minnesota. But I mean,
Are they live for the? I mean, of course they're live, but like, is that a realistic 6 seed?
It is, but who else are you looking at? Right?
Baltimore 7-6. The Titans are 7-6, and the Colts are 7-6, and the Broncos are now 6-7.
Yeah, so
Baltimore might win the division somehow because Pittsburgh can't win a game. Is Pittsburgh bad now?
Tomlin, I think, is 100% gone. Even if
You think he's gone?
I think he's. Yeah,
He was so bad.
I said.
Why wasn't he calling timeouts?
He's. There's a lot of issues with Tomlin right now.
Is it that they've been good for so long he doesn't know how to coach?
I have no answers for it because, for one, in the playoffs, they got rid of Todd Haley. Mm-hmm. They gave him a pass, I think, because Tomlin was brutal in that Jacksonville game. The defense was pathetic. Some of the play calling was really, really bad. And then last week against the Chargers, they could not. Like Keenan Allen, they were putting a middle linebacker on Keenan Allen. He just ate him up. Like they didn't even. They didn't change their ways at all. They play prevent defense all the time against the Patriots, and they get lit up against them. And then last night against Oakland, there's no excuse. I know that as a Tomlin team, you guys struggle in Oakland. You can't beat the Raiders. Okay. You need to beat the Raiders with your team and your season on the line and all the skill that you have. There's no excuse. Like, what are they going to blame it on? James Conner being gone? Le'Veon Bell not there? There's no excuse to. So even, Pat, if they make the playoffs, If they lose their first game, he's gone.
Here's the thing. They play the Bengals week 17. That should be a win. That's at home. The next 2 weeks,
got
at home
Pats
against
and
the Pats
Saints.
and at the Saints.
Yeah, and I have no confidence that they're going to beat those two teams.
The Ravens really needed that win
They
yesterday.
really did, and
They'd be winning the division right now.
yeah, they really did. The Colts are still hanging around. Obviously, they're going to play the Titans at the end of the year. That could be a game that
The Colts
is for
are
the
basically
playoffs.
done in the division. They're 2 back, but the Titans and Colts are both 7-6. Like they're both technically tied for the last
for that
spot.
wild card spot. And the Colts have
Indiana.
Dallas this week.
Colts have Dallas. They could beat Dallas.
yeah, they
They
could.
have the right sort of offense that can, where Luck gets pressured, but the offensive line is good enough to keep him upright, and they get the ball out so quickly, and they don't even try to pretend like they're going to run anymore.
No.
Unlike the Texans, who were down by 10 with 3 minutes left, being like, you know what we need to do?
Yeah.
Hand the ball to Lamar Miller on first down so we can get 1 yard and milk the clock.
Yeah.
What do they just did the Colts work for them.
Exactly. And you can't run on the Colts. They had no success earlier in the year. It was Lamar Miller's one of his worst games earlier in the year against the Colts. The Colts have been such a strong run defense, and that's twice now that Luck has lit up that defense. Earlier in the year, he had almost 500 yards and 4 touchdowns. He threw the ball 62 times yesterday. He had a great game. Couldn't stop T.Y., and they just kept going to T.Y.
The Texans
all day.
cannot stop. Just bank
Yeah.
that away. I mean, we talk about it in the weeks leading up to the Texans games.
Yeah.
He always lights up the Texans.
Yeah, for sure. Can't
too
stop
fast.
him. And just the offense runs so well with Frank Reich and using the tight ends again. Eric Ebron was solid again, racking up a bunch of targets and a bunch of looks. So that'll be a tough game for them to beat Dallas. But I think if they win that game against the Cowboys this week, then I would give them the benefit of the doubt for being a wild card team. I would slot them in. But who do the Ravens have left?
The Ravens have the Chargers at one point. I believe that's week 16.
So that'll be.
And then I think they have 2 sort of softies. They have
That'll
the
be the
Bucks
one.
this week in Baltimore. And they play the Browns week 17 in Baltimore. And they're at the Chargers, which could be a home game. Who knows? It's not a home game for the Chargers.
No, it's not a home game for the Chargers.
But
so.
they're a team that could. That's a really difficult one. That just feels like a really close game. If it comes down to special teams, I'll give the edge to Baltimore.
Cleveland's a game and a half out.
Are they really? A game and a half is tough.
It's tough because the tie, right?
But,
The tie
there's
killed them.
also like 4 teams at 7-6.
I know there. It's
So you have
really
to leave
tough.
all those teams.
They play Baltimore. You think they get that win against the Ravens? Then there's no chance. But it's just interesting to see that they're a game and a half out. Pretty some significant step forward for that Browns organization this year.
Baker was so good yesterday,
That throw that he made,
and he was fired up.
yeah, that was a phenomenal throw.
As someone
that
who
he
had the
made.
Cleveland Carolina over, and Cam on the inch-yard line, not getting the ball in to hit the over, I was like, I know they're going to go for it, because they should go for it. They're down by 6. They need a touchdown to take the lead. Of course they're going for it from here. I was like, no shame in kicking the field goal here, hitting the over. I missed by a point.
Yeah. Cam and Carolina, man, they're still hanging around too, but it's hard
They're
to.
not. They're bad, man.
But like mathematically, they're right
mathematically
there.
they're there.
Like they're actually, like I said, Minnesota loses today, and they're right there. Minnesota loses tonight. They'd be 6-6-1, and Carolina's 6-7.
And so are the Eagles, so are the Redskins, and the Packers are 5-7-1.
The Eagles are done because
The Eagles aren't done, though.
But they play the Rams this week in LA. They're gonna lose.
We just saw the Rams lose.
But they don't have that kind of defense. Like a guy again yesterday with Philly, guys are dropping left, right, and center. Like if you watch that game in the first half, you see Dallas. They had almost 400 yards of offense and they had 6 points because of Dak. Like they were throwing the ball and they were moving and they were having some success. But Dak with the turnover. What do you have? A red zone pick. He fumbled the ball. It was just. Again, he was doing so much to give that game away. Philly, and then they'll play Houston. They got a game against Washington. They'll win that.
Is
and that's
Houston
it.
for real? I can't figure this out because they looked so bad yesterday. And I know guys are hurt. Kiki didn't play. Then they randomly just lost some other receiver, and all of a sudden Joe Webb was playing. It's like, Joe Webb. Here we go.
I hadn't heard that name in a long time. I was like, Webb was catching passes with the game on the line.
Love Joe Webb. When I was able to play him at receiver when he was playing quarterback, it was the best.
I do remember that.
Did you weigh in on the Jalen Samuel tight end thing?
How so? Did I if I cared that he could have been played as a
do you
tight end?
care? I don't
No,
care.
I don't care. Why would I care? You can play him as a tight end, you can play him as a tight end. I cared to hear people say that you shouldn't allow your lead.
You know what those people are? Soft.
like
I was yelling. I got to do it with Jake about it. Just like
Jake's one of those people. Like we had the conversation. He said you should step in as a commissioner and you shouldn't allow.
You can't change the rules halfway through.
Exactly.
You can't do
if
it.
you could play him all year, then you could play him all year. If you play him week 1 as a tight end,
Oh.
then you can play him week 1 as a 10. It's just the way that it is.
Fun fact. Tim Andercust played Jalen Samuel in our keeper league at tight end week 1 when he was like, I don't know what this split's going to be like between Connor. He had 0 points.
Amazing. So, like, he played him week 1 because he could have. And, yeah, you can't make those changes. And I'm a little surprised that Yahoo can't make those changes because I see eligibility change all of the time.
You can add, you can't retract.
You can add and you can't.
Like, he won't have it next year.
Okay, fine. He won't have it because Cordero Patterson picked up RB this year. Yeah, he's picked it up.
It was like Ty Montgomery picked up running back last year.
I thought I've seen in like hockey and basketball and baseball they just drop, but maybe not. Okay.
No, they don't change midseason.
Okay. Yeah, I mean I didn't see what the big deal was.
And it's not like you don't know.
Right.
You can see it next to his name.
Exactly. It was no secret. You know, other leagues obviously you can't play him as tight end. I didn't care. You know, you could play him as a tight end if you wanted to. I didn't own him in any Yahoo leagues. I owned him in a couple of ESPN spots. I played him as a running back. Would have played him as a tight end if I could.
Top 5 running backs for this week. Henry, Elliott, Barkley, McCaffrey. Elliott, Barkley, McCaffrey, you'd figure out. Mixon had a really good game, too.
Yeah, Mixon had a really good game.
Aaron Jones. Then you got Brandon Bolden, Damian Williams, Nick Chubb, Spencer Ware, Eckler, Lizzie McGuire, Lamar Miller, Jalen Samuels, Elvin Kamara. If you had like Kamara, I guess he did enough because of the catches, but Gurley, Kamara, these guys are killing you.
These guys are
killed you. You're done.
Not playing. I'm done in a league where I have Alvin Kamara and I cruised all year. And also I had Odell Beckham Jr. on that team as well. That hurts. He didn't play. So losing those two guys, one league I'm done. Goff, who cruised all year, got me -9 in one league yesterday. It's -4 for an interception. He got me -9. I'm done in that league. Yeah, a lot. This happens all the time. It really is about matchups. Like you're obviously going to play those studs, but you really need to look ahead to the weeks that matter. 14, 15, and 16. You could say that it's like so much changes. You don't want to look too far ahead. Like say you're at week 10, you don't look too far ahead. But it's all about matchups. It really is a crapshoot in fantasy football playoffs.
There are 10 running backs, at least right now, who have more than 10 carries from inside the 5-yard line. The most is 17 with Todd Gurley. He has 8 touchdowns on those 17 carries. Because I noticed this yesterday when I had Barkley. I was like, every time they're in close, like Barkley can't score a touchdown. No. He needs to score all of his touchdowns from 70 yards.
Yeah, and I find his red zone touchdowns are catches.
Yeah. So Barkley, there's a few of them. Barkley, Sony Michel, Mark Ingram are the 3. And Doug Martin, who somehow has 11 carries inside the 5-yard line. 3 touchdowns.
Okay.
Like, they're bad in close.
Yeah.
Not shocking on the Mark Ingram front. He got his touchdown yesterday at one point, but on the drive before, they gave him 3 straight shots and got like -1.
Yeah, -1. And I look at the snap counts here, and you have them, and it's like Kamara playing 64%.
But he didn't get the touches.
And I just feel like it's just a waste. Like I want this guy playing like 80% of the snaps. And I'm sure the Saints do too. And that's what we'll probably see next year. But that yesterday started off, with the backup running backs getting all the work, getting all those touchdowns, right? Devlin again, like another rushing touchdown from that guy. How frustrating is it to own these
they probably looked at the numbers
backs?
And be like, "Oh, Sony Michel can't score touhdowns."
I guess, but he was earlier in the year. Like he was converting on those.
He has 11 carries from inside the 5, 3 touchdowns.
I guess.
Just big on getting stuffed. He should become a porn star.
Well, earlier in the year, I felt like he was getting, some of those touchdowns when Rex Burkhead was sprinkled in and getting some work too. So, anyways, he got taken away. Williams got Ware because Ware can't. The last time we saw Ware from a full season, he had 3 rushing touchdowns. Alex Smith had 5. Right? And then last week he got stuffed, and then they gave him another shot. He got the touchdown, and then yesterday they didn't even bother with him.
He had a great game, though.
He had a great game, but Williams was their goal line.
Pass.
But he had the rushing touchdown, did he not? Was that a receiving touchdown?
I thought it was a receiving touchdown.
And it was work inside the red zone. Was
it both?
It was inside the 5, so he got that. And then the same thing happened in a couple other games too, where the backups.
Damian Williams had 1 rushing, 1 receiving.
Okay. So, and that rushing, I think, was like on the 3 or 4, whatever it was.
But Ware had the one last week. Someone even asked us yesterday, just like, can I even consider playing Spencer Ware since he was such a letdown last week? He wasn't a letdown last week.
It's not going to be Kareem Hunt.
He scored 13 points last week and did nothing.
Exactly.
Like, that's good.
Yeah, this is somebody that hopefully you stashed all year because we've been talking about him forever, or you just picked up off of the waiver wire and you put him in there. He's not going to be Kareem Hunt but 5 catches yesterday.
Jalen Samuel. So to go through all the snap counts, I have the full snap counts posted inside my waiver cheat sheet column right now. And up on my Facebook page, facebook.com/thepme. Everyone should go follow that. Good running chronological list of all the content that comes out. There's no extra fluff. I mean, like yelling at people or trying to make jokes.
Yeah.
Just gets posted. That's where it is.
Nice.
So guys that played over 70% of their team's offensive snaps yesterday. There wasn't a lot.
No.
Leonard Fournette, 77%. Lamar Miller, 71%. No one's Christian McCaffrey, 100%.
Every week.
Is he the first pick next year in PPR leagues?
I don't think, not for me, but he's top 3 for sure.
He's so safe.
He really is. Like, I would pick him over Bell 100%.
Pick him over Barkley?
I think I'd go Gurley, Barkley, and then McCaffrey.
I don't like how they've scaled back Gurley.
I know.
Gurley only seems to get super involved in the passing game when they're losing.
Yeah.
And if they're going to be good, I mean, not that Gurley's in the mix for the number 1, Barkley's in the mix for number 1, McCaffrey.
Gurley's going to let people down.
With Zeke, now that he's involved in the passing game.
Yeah, and they're clinched too, and then they're playing Philadelphia this week, and you wonder how much play really Gurley's going to get. And then next week, week 16, we talked about this before.
Yeah.
You have him, it is what it is. It sucks.
Unfortunately, you're probably done.
Yeah,
if you have Gurley.
you're right.
So it doesn't matter anymore.
Hopefully you just had a bye, but you're probably done.
Zeke is 87%. David Johnson, 89%. Gurley, 98%. Davis actually was the only one to get a snap, not John Kelly in that game. Jalen Samuels, 80% of the snaps. Mm-hmm. Jeff Wilson, 86% of the snaps. Elijah McGuire, 74% of the snaps. So that should lead us into the actual rankings for running backs going into the week. I think that there are, because of injury, there's 2 guys that you can pick up and play. Chris Ivory's number 1.
Yep.
Bad matchup against Detroit, who has actually a pretty good run defense.
They've been much better lately, yeah.
Elijah McGuire, number 2. I have Kenneth Dixon at number 3.
Yeah, because all they want to do is run the football.
He's Buck Allen now.
He is. Also, he got the red zone opportunity, the rushing touchdown. That's another guy that stole some work. And there was Alfred Blue was another one who stepped in for Miller. I know Miller had the touchdown late, but Blue had one. There was a lot of just other guys coming in, and I noticed from Dixon, Gus Bus was still fine. He still led the way in carries. He was okay.
But he only played, 44% of the snaps?
Yeah,
and he gets no catches.
No catches. So I think there's more upside to roll out Dixon. Like, I think if I could choose the 2, if I was in a PPR format, I'm rolling out Dixon.
Because Ty Montgomery's still the one catching the ball.
He is, but Dixon is still, he's still on the field. Like, did he not have a couple targets? I think he still had some work in the passing game. And for Montgomery, he was running the ball a couple times and just getting stuffed. And I was watching that game. I was like, why don't you go back to Gus? Or why don't you go to Dixon? Like, Montgomery's not doing anything for you.
Yeah, Dixon had 1 catch.
Just the 1 catch?
1 catch, 1 target.
Okay.
And Montgomery only had 3 targets in the game. They just don't pass.
That's the thing.
So,
they just run the football.
I think that the big knife in everyone is Lamar Jackson. He had 13 rushes. So he just takes away from everyone's bottom line. I think that I would still go with Gus Bus before any of them, only because
it's just guaranteed.
16 carries yesterday. He's not going to get less than 15 in any game.
Yeah.
It's just you need to kind of reconsider. All of these running backs, like no one's playing that much anymore. And even stupid Barkley. How many yards could he have rushed for?
Like 400. Honestly, though.
Why not let him do it? Like what else are you playing for?
Yeah.
Let him break the rushing record.
That's my one problem with Barkley. Like, I played him a lot in cash. I fade him in tournaments. It turned out to be the wrong call, but
it depended on who you replaced him with. You replaced him with McCaffrey or Elliott, it was fine.
Yeah, it was. Those were the 3 big guys to spend up for. If you spend up for Kamara, it didn't work out for you. But for Barkley, that's been my one problem is he's so good and that ceiling is so high, but it gets capped from what I've seen over the past couple of weeks with the Giants. It's like a couple weeks ago against Philadelphia. They were rolling in that football game. He had 4 carries in the second half. Like, it was almost like, okay, we don't want to win this game. We proved that we can. We did a good job in the first half. We want to pick. We want to look at the future here. In that game yesterday, it was just blown out. Maybe if it was closer, we see a little bit of Barkley, but he hasn't been getting a lot of play in the second half lately. And it's what could he do?
Washington the Giants once again lose the second half. That I mentioned on the spread show. Just don't bother betting the game. Just bet against the Giants in the second half.
Right. It's because it just seemed. Maybe they're doing it the right way. I don't know.
I think they tested out a backup yesterday.
Yeah.
They got Josh Johnson.
Yeah. That guy finished as a top 5 quarterback. Unbelievable. But, Barkley is going to be my second pick, I think.
We'll have to go
next
over this
year.
at some point.
Yeah.
We'll really hash out the rankings. We'll do an early look. Maybe do it with Jake.
But he could have 100% lit up that team way more than he did.
So injuries. James Conner obviously missed the week. No word on whether he's going to be back or not. I would say
I'm
he's
thinking
not.
no.
I'm thinking
yeah.
no too.
High ankle sprain. It's usually a couple weeks.
Breda, is he going to be back?
I don't know, but
Jeff Wilson's clearly the guy.
Jeff Wilson is clearly the guy, and I just want a running back in the Shanahan offense. He just seems to make all of them like useful.
As long as he's not using too many at one time.
Yeah.
Melvin Gordon could be back Thursday night, and Eckler has a stinger. He might not play on Thursday night. So Justin Jackson is viable again, so don't drop him.
No, don't drop him. I mean, you got to keep him just if...
He might end up being the starter on Thursday
He
night
might be
against
the only
Kansas City,
guy. Yeah.
who is the worst run defense in the league.
Yeah, Gordon could come back and suffer a setback, and next week, the following week, Eckler is maybe a fringe flex guy for you. Just keep these depth guys.
Kerryon Johnson, do we see him again?
I don't think so.
I don't think so. No, I think we do.
Really?
Yeah. Unless there's something significantly wrong with his knee, why wouldn't he be back? Like, what's he dealing with?
It's a knee injury that could I don't know. I mean, I'm not a doctor, but like
You're not?
Yeah, no. But you could, he could suffer a setback. He could.
Sure, but yeah.
Maybe that sprain turns into a tear. I don't know.
Crowell, I doubt he ends up playing. McCoy with a hamstring. We've seen this too many times. He's going to try to play, and he'll have like two snaps, and he'll get hurt again.
There's no reason to start McCoy.
Then why would Machete even want to play at this point? You have an injury.
He cares about all his records.
He cares about,
but he's not totaling any yards.
Keep yourself healthy for next year on whatever team you end up on. And Corey Clement went down.
I think he's done for the year.
I looked up at the screen. I was like, Corey Clement's getting touches? Like, he's just withering in pain on the ground. I was like, oh, I guess that's probably the end. Darren Sproles played the most snaps of any Eagles running back yesterday.
Are you surprised?
I told you it would happen.
So, yeah, for sure. And it's all about game script, of course, is when they get down in the game. It's Sproles who's in there, and he had, 2 touchdowns?
Do you have 2?
He definitely had 1.
Yeah, I know he had the one.
Maybe it was a 2-point combo that he converted on. That's what it was. And then the week before, he had the touchdown. That was a nice play by Kelsey, Jason Kelsey.
The problem is, you can't. He scored a touchdown and played 42% of the snaps and scored 12 PPR points. It's not very good.
No, it's not very good. This offense is not very good in Philadelphia. Yeah. It hasn't been at all. I've been saying this for weeks now.
Unless Dallas Goedert can just break everyone by pass interfering everyone.
And what the hell was that call?
I don't know.
Like, are you kidding me? Those little plays that I see from Dallas, it just makes me think like
that happened with
America's team.
I
see it every week from Dallas.
Yeah, but the thing is,
every week
everyone is always so hyper focused on Dallas games that you notice it. This happens in every game.
It does. You're right. It does.
People aren't watching every single snap of every single game intentively. Like, you can have it on, you can go back and rewatch things, but like last week, the helmet on Kamara.
Smoked. And the week before that was a PI call with the game on the line, missed, and then the very next play was Jordan Reed crushed helmet to helmet. And there was no call, and he flung his helmet 50 yards. It's 3 straight weeks now where I just don't understand how you miss those calls because the football is in those guys' hands. What are you watching? There's somebody who's watching the actual play. But anyways, it is what it is. But
would you go Ivory over McGuire? I think they play Detroit, and the Jets play Saturday night.
Yeah, there's 2 Saturday games.
Yeah, the Jets play Houston. That's why I put McGuire a little bit back. I think that he played 74% of the snaps. Cannon did steal the touchdown. But I think he's someone that you could roll out as a flex if you had to. I don't think he's going to be super high in the rankings.
Yeah. Like you said, it's really tough. The Texans don't allow anything on the ground,
That's
man.
The thing.
I think it's 3.7 yards per carry. That might be tops in football.
So you hope he gets involved in the passing game. But that's actually where Cannon does work, is in the passing game.
Yeah, I like Ivory more. And you go look at the couple games that Ivory's had this season, at least the volume has been there without Shady. There's 2 games earlier in the year, and he finished top 10 both those weeks in touches. It was over 20.
Marcus Murphy was the one that played the most snaps. I mean, do anything, but
yeah,
you don't want Marcus Murphy. He's not touching
you
the
don't
ball
want
at the goal
Murphy.
line.
Yeah, you don't want Murphy. Yeah, Blunt. Ivory's that guy.
Ivory's like Blunt.
Yeah, it's exactly what he's like. Yeah, he is.
Would you go Jalen Richard or Damian Williams? I still think that Richard's the lock to touch the ball more. Although the value on the touches for Williams might be far higher.
Yeah, I think the value will be higher, and I think I'd lean that way. I think there's just slightly more upside in terms of just maybe some scoring.
I'm going to stick with Richard only because I know that Richard never scores. I don't think he's ever had a touchdown. But if Williams doesn't score, he's useless. It was I told Gary that if he started Doug Martin this week, he was going to lose just based on bad vibes because Doug Martin sucks.
Yeah.
Doug Martin scores the touchdown early, finished with 16 carries for 32 yards because he sucks.
He's brutal. Yeah, he really is. It's hard to start him. Richard in a PPR format, sure. I mean, he's still passing the ball. I know that's what's so frustrating. That's what's so frustrating about Richard is because if you go look at his last 5 games, it's like really good. Where is he? Really good. Where is he? Like he's had some significant games with those targets, right? Those targets and the catches. So, I mean, that's frustrating. There's a lot of backs, man. Like, it's really tough. Like, you're probably not in a situation where you're going to play an Ivory. But
You might have to.
I
mean, if you were playing LaShawn McCoy at this point, you're probably not in the playoffs.
So Ware left yesterday, but he came back too, right? Like he had a stinger.
Him and Hill both left right before the half.
And then they came back when the game was on the line.
So wide receivers, Tyreek Hill is the important one. Foot injury.
Yeah, and that's tough.
On the short week, you just need to wait and see. I'm going to keep everything like he's going to play.
He's going to be game time. He's game time from here on out.
Beckham missed with the quad. I assume he's going to be okay for this week, but who knows?
This guy spends like $300,000 on his body every year. I saw that report Friday morning that he spends $300,000 on his body every year to get his body right, and then he can't fly because he's got a bruise on his quad.
To spend more.
I think he does.
Chad Williams missed the game with an ankle. Bruce Ellington left with a hamstring injury in that same game. Kiki missed another week with a hamstring. He'll eventually be back.
I just can't trust him at this point.
If every time he plays, he's fine.
Yeah, I know, but I don't know like if he's going to play, if he's going to suffer a setback, is he just going to play 10 snaps? Like I just don't know. At this point, I'd just rather roll somebody else out.
Chark, Garcon, Inman, Sammy Watkins all missed the week. Sammy Watkins is done. You can drop Sammy Watkins. Deshaun Jackson missed with a thumb. I don't know if we'll see him the rest of the year.
I don't think. I'm surprised he's not shut down. I saw reports earlier last week that he'd probably just get shut down for the season. At this point, like, what do you... Time to move on from Deshaun and see what you got in Godwin.
And Inunwa left the game with an ankle injury. He did end up returning, but he was
That's the same ankle that he was hurt with earlier in the year.
So at wide receiver rankings, I put Dede at number 1. My main man, Dede.
Yeah, I think Dede is their best wide receiver. Like, he's their most skilled wideout.
Dede, I have Reynolds at number 2 only because what you talked about. They've locked this up.
Yeah.
They're not taking Josh Reynolds out of the game.
They're not taking Josh Reynolds out of the game. And the Eagles are still on to their 5th and 6th cornerbacks. And I think guys got hurt again. Yeah, Sidney Jones got hurt yesterday, and he's like their 5th corner. So
Westbrook, Reynolds, Samuel, Robbie Anderson, Zay Jones, Randall Cobb, Deshaun Hamilton, Kenny Stills, Taylor
Sean
Gabriel.
Hamilton's interesting. What do you
got? Dante
9
Pettis.
Targets? Him and Patrick had like 19 targets.
Yeah, Matt Lacoste. Didn't do anything.
Again.
Matt Lacoste killing me. Anthony Miller, David Moore, Tyrell Williams, Chris Conley. Conley can move up if Hill is out.
Yes.
For sure. John Ross, Crowder, Tim Patrick, 8-man.
8-man, yeah.
Robert Foster.
Yeah, Foster, another good game yesterday. I think he's had 3 of the last 5. I mean, he still doesn't get a lot of work, a lot of volume.
He had over 100 yards.
He did, and he had over 100 yards, I think, 3 weeks ago, too, on like 2 catches. But, yeah.
He's so fast.
He's very, very fast. And they don't have anything, right?
They have one play that they really like to do. It doesn't really work out all that well, but Josh Allen gets pressured because they have no offensive line.
Yeah.
He scrambles around and eludes the pressure. Then he runs towards the sidelines. But instead of throwing the ball out of bounds, he throws it back across his body right to the opposing team. Like, what are you doing, man? Like, just throw it out of bounds.
He's actually, I know you've seen this because you watch all the games. He's done that, I think, once every game.
He did it 4 times yesterday.
At least once every game. Yeah, he runs around great, and he's got a hell of an arm.
Just throw it away.
But just toss it away. There's a couple times like Goff yesterday, too. And Goff is still inexperienced. You know, I watched him yesterday. I give a lot of credit to the Bears D, but some of these young quarterbacks, they just don't get it. They throw that ball. Patrick Mahomes is the only guy I've ever seen be able to pull this stuff off, like no-look passes. He runs around, he throws it across his body. Like, they probably tell you that, like, day one. Like, don't do that.
And, I mean, the 4th down conversion to Tyreek Hill was like rolling out right, throw it back across his body, 40 yards down the field.
That was a 48-yard play that he extended that game. And I give credit to Hill, too, coming back and getting that ball. And it's so fun to watch. But, yeah, Allen will learn, I guess. But I kind of feel bad for him. Like, it's not, like, nothing. He tried to work out with Kelvin Benjamin. The guy didn't want to work out all year.
Well, Cuss was going on. He was complaining, like, oh, it's not fair to judge Sam Darnold because he has no weapons. I was
He's got more weapons.
Look at the other side of the field, man.
He's got way more. Like, Curse is fine. He
Anderson
can catch
and
Inunwa. Yeah, that blows Buffalo's wideouts right out of the water.
Well, Zay Jones can't catch. That's tough.
A ton of targets yesterday. No
So many
catches.
drops.
So many
4
drops.
drops, I think.
Yeah. So there's really nothing. And Buffalo's been just starving for wideouts, right? They go and make the trade for Calvin. They go and make the trade for Jordan Matthews. That didn't work out for them. They go try to get Corey Coleman for like a minute.
Should have just kept Robert Woods.
Yeah, absolutely. Or Hogan. Yeah. Been Hogan at one point.
I mean, you can probably get Hogan right now. He doesn't do anything.
True. He does nothing. He's been a huge disappointment. That guy was like borderline wide receiver 18, 22.
Yeah, I was so big on Hogan coming into
the draft. I had him in a couple spots as well. He's been off my team for weeks.
I blame Josh Gordon.
Yeah, Gordon coming didn't help, but that's the reason they got Gordon, because Hogan was
so
crap.
bad. Yeah. Tight ends, injuries at tight ends, not a ton. Jordan Reed, I assume he's going to miss the rest of the year.
Can't start him. I'm going to luck out in a league that I'm going to win the week with Jordan Reed. No thanks. Not getting in my roster again.
He has a foot injury. Jonnu Smith was placed on injured reserve, and Mo Ali Cox missed the game because anytime you're a Colts tight end, you are not necessarily relevant, but you're relevant to take touchdowns away from people.
Of course.
So
yes.
pickups at tight end. I don't have a bunch. I put Ian Thomas at number 1. I was
not?
Uzma over Thomas last week. Uzma finished with 3 for 39.
Yeah.
I don't know if I would expect like a 27% market share for Ian Thomas every week, but like Funchess wasn't really used at all.
And he hasn't been. He had the touchdown 2 weeks ago when he came in on a red zone play. But other than that, I think it's been 5 or 6 straight games, Pat, where he's done nothing. So he wouldn't come close to my roster. And for Thomas, so last week, I think he had 4 for 40-ish. And then earlier in the year when Greg Olsen missed games, he had a game with 6 targets and 5 targets. So
But he didn't do anything.
He didn't do anything, but I think at least he's getting some volume. I would roll him out over Jordan Reed at this point.
Yeah. Well, I mean, I don't think Jordan Reed's going to play. So that's why I have Thomas, Uzma, Vernon Davis, just assuming.
Yeah, sure. Actually, Vernon Davis is not bad. It's just a quarterback play.
Chris
right?
Herndon.
Like, do you go back to Sanchez?
No,
Is Sanchez
of course
starting?
not. Van Sanchez is not starting. Vernon Davis, Chris Herndon, Vance McDonald, Ryan Griffin, who actually led the Texans in receiving yesterday,
Yeah.
and Anthony Ferkster. Taking over
Ferkster.
We go from Delaney to Jonnu to Ferkster.
How about Blake Jarwin? Or is that just more in the Eagles? 7 targets, 7 catches, 56 yards.
I feel like we've seen this a few times this year.
The Dallas tight end situation is a little
I don't know if
shady.
Swaim is going to be back at any point, but they still have Dalton Schultz.
Yeah, and
They still have
Schultz
Uncle Rico. He's still lingering around. He had 2
Schultz had
catches
some
yesterday. I was
catches.
like, Uncle Rico. There he is. Everyone's so fired up. Team preseason.
Yeah.
All over Uncle Rico.
Yeah, Gathers. Yeah, he had 1 catch for -1.
People love Rico Gathers.
I don't know
If
why.
his name wasn't Rico Gathers, no one would know who he
Yeah,
is.
that's why.
QB streams. I got 2 here. I got week 15 streams and week 16 streams.
Okay.
Look, I'm looking out for people.
Nice.
So there's actually injuries at quarterback to deal with here. Ben, if he was able to come back for the final drive, why wasn't he playing most of the second half? Tomlin said that Dobbs was in such a rhythm. It's like, no, he wasn't. He was awful.
Tomlin's lost it, man. He's out.
He's just lost it.
He's lost it. He's lost his locker room. He's lost his head. And the Steelers are in a big time trouble. They're in big time trouble.
Yeah, this is usually when they turn it on. It takes everyone writing them off, and then all of a sudden they're awesome again.
Yeah, it's no surprise for them to see them lose a game on the road. I mean, they lost in Denver, and then they lose in Oakland, and the Big Ben splits are so real. We've seen it so many times, but
They lost at home to the Chargers.
they're not going to win a playoff game without James Conner. We'll put it that way.
You don't think so?
No. Ben just can't come and chuck it 50, 60 times a game and win the football game. He doesn't have success that way.
Ben's probably going to play this week against the Patriots. Darnold hurt his foot and came back. Sanchez, he just went full Sanchez.
This guy sucks.
Yeah. So I doubt he'll come back.
There's no chance. They can't roll.
They could win a game with Josh Johnson. He's fun.
Yeah.
He's the first pick in that other not XFL league.
It's right. Yeah.
Flacco was not active.
But he was close. I think he participated in practice fully all week.
Also, that was a nice pass by Robert Griffin on that 4th down play.
It was.
That was
a nice
PI.
pass. It was. It really was burned. I think they.
I think they're not playing Flacco because they don't want him back.
Right. And they did enough in this game to really win it in Kansas City and to lose in overtime by a field goal. You got to feel pretty good and just think, okay, now we're just going to roll with Jackson. He learned a lot from that game, maybe, but he can't win you that game when the game's on the line. Like, he's not going to be able to go toe-to-toe with an
It would have been a good time to have Flacco active.
It really would have. Like, he wouldn't have turned that ball over late.
Tannehill hurt his ankle, left, came back. Lamar Jackson hurt his ankle at the end of the game. Obviously, Robert Griffin was in, but I think that he'll be ready for week 15. He said he's going to be ready for week 15.
Yeah.
So the streamers for week 15 got Josh Allen at number 1.
Why not? He's going to run around. That's the first time ever, I think, in NFL history where a guy's had that many rushing yards in 3 straight games.
We gave out Garion brought it up. I wasn't even thinking about it. He's just like, what's Josh Allen's over-under? He's like, I would take over 70 if that was a bet. I went and looked up.
40,
it was
wasn't it?
40 and a half. I was
Yeah.
like, let's bet that.
Yeah, I saw Gary tweet. I was back and forth with him. I think it was the best bet of the week that you could have had. This guy does it.
He had it on the first drive. Over
Yeah.
on the first drive. So Allen, Prescott at Indy, Lamar Jackson at home against Tampa Bay, Baker Mayfield at Denver, Carr at Cincinnati. It's a great matchup. It's still fucking Derek Carr. So
I know,
who knows?
it's really tough.
Marcus Mariota, Jeff Driscoll, Case Keenum. Any thoughts on those guys? Like, who are the ones you're realistically playing? Allen and Dak?
Yeah, I think so.
Lamar, maybe, because of the floor?
Lamar maybe just because he has that safe floor, but if you're really shooting for upside, it's tough to play him in like a 10 or a 12 man. But in 2 quarterback leagues, like these guys that you're mentioning are studs, and they're the reason that you're probably doing really well because there's just a nice floor with all 3 of them.
Week 16 quarterback streams. I just reversed the order. Dak Prescott at home against Tampa Bay. I can't believe he's not more than 60% owned.
It's really shocking, and
He's been good for,
he's
like-
been good for a while. What do you have, like 5 rushing touchdowns in a 7-game span?
Yep.
Heading into yesterday, and Amari Cooper and just the talent that he's been, and the games, just having Cooper on the field, it gives a little bit more upside for a guy like Dak. He takes one to the house. So, yeah, Dak, roll him out there.
So Dak, Josh Allen at New England. I think that
Yeah.
sounds like a top 10 week.
Yeah.
Baker Mayfield at home against Cincinnati. That's pretty good.
That's really
that's a
good.
start. Marcus Mariota at home against Washington.
Yep.
Lamar Jackson at home against the Chargers. I don't love that.
That's not a good spot for him.
I have Mariota in twice, apparently. So I also have him at number 6. He's actually supposed to be number 4. I made that change and didn't delete him. Josh Johnson at Tennessee. I don't know if he's going to start or not, but
Yeah.
we saw the upside.
Yeah, I mean,
If we're going to start Josh Allen, we're going to start Lamar Jackson. He runs a ton. That's what he
What do you
does.
have, 45 yards, rushing touchdown, hit through one as well. Doxson had his best game of the season, a career high, 80 yards.
Jamison Crowder almost had a 90-yard touchdown.
Yeah, Jamison Crowder finally showed up. So, yeah, I mean, if you're in 2 quarterback leagues that you can play these guys and stream them and start them, they're still hanging around. I'm surprised at Dak's ownership as well.
It's strange.
Yeah, I don't know what it is. I think people just look at that team and they just see Zeke, but Dak has that nice floor. He runs around, calls his own number sometimes.
Defenses for the next 2 weeks. I have them fully ranked in the waiver wire cheat sheet. So week 15 defense rankings. Buffalo, number 1. Houston, Chicago, Jacksonville, Baltimore, Denver, Detroit, Seattle, New Orleans, Cleveland.
I like Cleveland.
You can pick up some of those Ds.
You can pick up a lot of those Ds. Yeah, and, the Texans, obviously, in a pretty good spot. I don't know how many people rolled them out against the Colts yesterday or even wanted to.
Didn't turn out well.
No, it didn't turn out well. And, yeah, the dial-up pressure. And, again, Darnold. Just going to continue to pick on him and all of his weapons.
So, actual, streamers, I don't know what happened to them. They were on this list, and apparently I got rid of them. May have to go back and reassess that. But Atlanta could be a decent defense here against Arizona at home.
Yeah.
That would be the ultimate streamer.
That Rosen and company didn't do anything against Detroit, and they're only an okay defense.
Good run D.
Good run D, which they've improved when they got snacks. But other than that,
Washington at Jacksonville could be a play.
Washington
as
at
a streamer.
Jacksonville. Jacksonville hasn't been able to move the ball in 3 weeks.
Giants against Tennessee.
Yeah.
Don't love it, but
Yeah.
it's in New
Yeah.
York. So Minnesota, Miami, Minnesota, Tennessee. Now you're getting Frenchie. I would take Atlanta over those ones.
Yeah. Atlanta's in a pretty good spot. They're definitely available.
Oh, for sure.
Yeah.
They're the completely unowned defense that you can go pick up if you're in desperate need. But you should have one of those ones, I would think. Because we recommended picking up Denver 6 weeks ago for this stretch.
Anytime you can get anybody against Jacksonville too, because
They're bad.
They just they really are bad, and I now have changed my tune. I think on Monroe's. He's gone too.
You think Marone's gone?
I think he's gone too.
I don't know. They fired their coordinators and didn't fire him.
Yeah.
Maybe give him another shot. They did just go to the AFC Championship game.
Yeah. True. Should have won that game too.
Week 16 defense rankings. Number 1, Chicago at San Francisco. There you go. Cleveland at home against Cincinnati. So Cleveland has 2 good matchups.
Cleveland has 2 good matchups. Yeah, that's 2 in a row. I would grab them, I think.
Dallas, Denver, the Rams, the Titans against Washington, whether it's Josh Johnson or Mark Sanchez. Better if it's Mark Sanchez.
Definitely better.
Minnesota at Jacksonville, the Chargers, the Texans. Then you have like Washington at Tennessee, New Orleans against Pittsburgh, which I don't hate.
That's actually not a bad, that's an underrated one because
They get to the quarter. They had a ton of sacks again yesterday.
They really do get to the quarterback. And like I said, I think Ben's just going to be in a situation with O'Connor that they're just going to he's going to throw the ball a ton. And usually that's what I want for my defense.
So I have the Bills at
Some
number
pressure.
1 this week. I have it number 18 next week at New England. I don't know if I severely dislike the Bills. I know it's risky because it's at New England. I feel like that defense is good, man.
That defense is really good. That defense is it's a top 5 defense in the league. They're strong against the pass, really strong against the pass, and they're pretty strong against the run as well. And they've given Brady fits. Earlier in the year, Brady struggled. I know that game was in Buffalo, but it's not bad. I'll put it that way. Like, you could play them. You could definitely start them. They'll be a top 12 defense.
I have them at 18. Like, I'm so worried.
Yeah. Of course.
So, like, the sneaky D that you can definitely go pick up this week is Atlanta. But Cleveland looks like the one that...
I like Cleveland. I like their 2 matchups.
Because I don't think Denver's available anymore. I think people got hip to Denver.
People were all over Denver in the pickups. But I think Cleveland is available. And they got some players that, they can force some turnovers. And, where they got Denver this week, not sold on Case Keenum.
No.
And then the following week is a good spot for them, too.
Is Njoku going to have, like, 350 yards against Denver? No, they can't tackle tight ends or cover tight ends.
They can't cover them. I know that for sure. He might. It was nice to see Jarvis Landry get, some play in the slot. Carolina's defense has just been
bad.
Real bad. Wow.
He had a rushing touchdown. That's fun.
Yeah,
50 yards rushing.
And he almost threw one.
Did he? I didn't
Landry?
see that.
There was a play where, and they said on the broadcast that they were practicing it all week, but the play was really supposed to go to Baker Mayfield. Like Landry was supposed to throw it to Baker, but he tossed one in the end zone. I think it was to Brashard Perriman, and he just missed it.
We almost had a Zay Jones to Josh Allen touchdown.
Yes.
that was going to be fun.
That would have been cool. I did see that.
Showdown tonight. Any idea what happens in this game? Because I don't know.
It's a tough game to call. Like, I've been on the Vikings all year. I really respect their team, but it's hard to go against Seattle right now at home. We'll say that. Like, so I'm going to be on Seattle to win that football game. It's a 3-point spread. I think they win by a field goal.
Is it still 3?
Should be 3.5 maybe. I know it opened up at 3.5.
It was 3.5. It's down to 3.
Yeah.
It really feels like. But like, who do you make as your captain for this game? I have no idea.
It's tough. I don't like any of the running backs really to have.
Maybe just make
a great
it Dalvin
game.
Cook, Thielen or Cook.
Yeah, if I was to pick anyone from that Minnesota side, it would be Thielen and Cook. If you're trying to get under the radar, maybe a little bit with Diggs, I wonder how many people are going to really feel great about Diggs.
Well, the run defense for Minnesota is really good.
It's so strong.
So maybe you don't play one of the running backs for Seattle. You play Russell Wilson. Doug Baldwin's still a game time decision.
I know.
So maybe you play like David Moore, Jerron Brown.
David Moore is very interesting.
Maybe you play the kickers.
Yeah.
I know. It's a tough slate for me.
It is a tough slate. Thielen has been pretty safe all year.
Yeah, that's true.
He really
Unless
has
plays
been
the
pretty
Patriots
solid.
somehow.
Yeah, but Bill Belichick takes away. We see this all the time. Bill Belichick takes away the opposing player's best guy.
Unless that's a
Opposing
narrative
team's
that
best
week, then
guy.
it doesn't happen.
Yeah.
When people remember that he does that, it never happens. When they forget about it, it's like, oh yeah, of course Thielen doesn't do it.
Yeah, I mentioned Thielen a couple weeks ago on the Ballers Pod, and Mike Wright was all over it. He's like, I don't know, Belichick. I'm like, nah. He had the touchdown. It was fine. He didn't have a complete dead game, but Thielen's been pretty safe all year, and that's the guy. Cook is very interesting to me too because some catches out of the backfield, and we saw McCaffrey. McCaffrey's on a whole nother level, but he really ate them up a couple weeks ago in Seattle, catching some balls out of the backfield.
So Dalvin Cook, Showdown captain Monday night.
I think I've talked myself into Dalvin Cook. Yeah.
I tried that last time, didn't work.
No?
He was bad. It was 2 ago when they played Green Bay, I think, in primetime. Is that who they played?
Yeah,
Or the Bears,
he's
whoever
been
it was.
very, very disappointing all year.
Hey, he was good against New England in terms of usage and what he did in the passing game.
Yeah.
Check down Kirk Cousins came in the game, just threw Dalvin Cook every ball.
Right, and I think we'll probably see a lot of that.
Early spreads before we get to some viewer cues. What do you think the biggest spread of the week is? That's live on the board. I'll tell you. And you're not. It's actually Baltimore over Tampa Bay is -8. What do you think the Jags are favored over Washington as? Washington at Jacksonville. What's the spread in that game?
It's probably only like 3.5.
It's not.
It's more?
It's more.
7.5?
7.
7 for Jacksonville to beat. Because the defense is still solid. It's still good.
I agree.
They're going to beat them by like probably 20. Because
But not if Josh Jackson starts.
I guess that's right. I forgot about Josh Jackson.
Josh Johnson.
Josh Johnson. Josh Jackson's on
Justin Jackson, Josh Johnson.
all the Jacksons, all the Joshes and Jacksons. Yeah, I don't know, man. Like, even still with whoever's at quarterback, Jacksonville's defense has still been pretty money this year. It's been pretty solid. It's going to score 10 points maybe. But, like, at the same time, what's Jacksonville going to get? What's the over-under on that? Is it even
36.
Oh my goodness, it's going to be the lowest I've seen.
The highest over-under of any game right now, because there's a whole bunch that are off the board.
Yeah.
But for the Sunday slate of games, the Millionaire Maker slate, the highest game is 47.
Wow.
Bucks, Ravens, and Cowboys, Colts.
Wow. Well, we get the 2 Saturday games now, so you're going to take a couple games away from that Sunday slate.
So 41.5 and 44.5 for the 2 Saturday games. The Jets are 6.5-point dogs at home against the Texans. And the Broncos are 3.5-point favorites at home against the Browns. I'm going to get sucked into betting the Browns, and Denver's going to work them. Watch.
Yeah, Denver, really missing Emmanuel Sanders. I don't know if they're going to squeak into the playoffs
Would you rather
anymore.
have Deshaun Hamilton, or would you rather have Courtland Sutton? So I think Courtland Sutton got Sherman yesterday.
Yeah.
That's what happened.
Yeah, that is what happened. Deshaun's very interesting, that deep threat. I didn't think he'd get as much targets, much usage as he got.
He played the slot, and that's the Sanders role.
Yeah. I might want him.
Yeah.
I might want him. That's some
maybe
safety. Case Keenum can make those throws, man.
Maybe you just don't want any of them.
Yeah,
maybe that's the move.
That's probably really the move, but
If you need one.
if you need one, you could be in a spot. Like, we could, I'd probably roll him out over 8 man.
8 man. If Kiki plays, I'd still rather play Kiki. And we'll know by Saturday.
We'll know by Saturday.
Jets 6.5 points at home against the Texans. The Texans should win. The Texans love beating bad teams.
Yeah, they really do. And I can't give any confidence to the Jets in any spread, all right? And surprisingly, they won that game yesterday against Buffalo. I was completely on the Bills.
Oh, so was I. Of course. Yeah. So was the world.
Yeah.
There was a few of those games yesterday, and I think they all went the other way. Like, the world was on Denver.
Yeah.
That's actually one I had. The world was on the Giants.
The last 4 games killed me. All of them on the money line the wrong way.
The late slate killed
Steelers.
me, too. I was building up I was coming back on cusp. I was down 17 games coming into the week. And I think I had made back like 6 of them in the early slate of games, plus Thursday, and then I just lost them all back.
And then it was a weird day.
Like, I should have taken, I went just taking all the crummy teams yesterday. I was like, and I didn't take Cincinnati. Maybe I did take Cincinnati. I said I should take Cincinnati.
Yeah,
and I was like, I just can't make a case for it.
Yeah, I couldn't.
And then, of course, they cover.
Yeah, the spreads were good for me yesterday, but yeah, on Pittsburgh on the money line just to get that W, and on Arizona at home, letdown spot, and then I was on the Rams last night.
Now, let's get some viewer Q. Actually, let's say goodbye to the audio podcast listeners right now. If you want to get into a draw for 20 DK dollars, if you watch the video version after the fact in the comments section, let me know which 2 defenses you would pick up for week 15 and 16 with your DraftKings handle after hitting the like. We got no likes on this episode.
Man,
people hate this episode. They hate it.
Why? Talking football.
I would just want to get into the draw. Give a like, DK handle, 2 defense you pick up. Audio version,
$20.
Rate 5 stars. Leave your DraftKings handle. Say something nice about the show. You can do that on iTunes, Spotify, Stitcher, Podbean, SoundCloud, no matter where it is. Just leave a 5-star review. So, goodbye, audio listeners. I'll see you next time. Viewer cues.
All right.
Let's talk to the peoples. Let's see what they're saying.
Gonna get a lot of triggered girly questions, I think.
No, all those people are out. They're not tuning in today. Josh Johnson confirmed as the starter already. Perfect.
Wow.
That's why there's a line out on the game.
All right, fair.
Makes
sense.
Dak or Allen week 15, who do you think will be better? I mean, I guess it's too hard to click on the rankings and look at them because they're right next to each other, and one is over another. And fun fact, I mean, if you can't read, I guess that's tough, but I do put them in order. So who's higher is ranked higher.
It's set up perfectly, actually. You do a good job setting it up. Apparently not good enough, actually. Dak.
I like Josh Allen this week.
Yeah.
Josh Allen.
They're both solid
Josh
plays.
Allen against Detroit at home versus Dak. Yeah. Dak next week. They're both 1-2.
Yeah,
starts.
they're both fine starts.
I like Allen this week. I like Dak next week.
Yeah. I would say that Allen's probably safer. Does that make sense that he's safer and Dak has a higher ceiling?
Absolutely.
Yeah. It's crazy.
Josh Allen was terrible in the
think
first
that.
half yesterday and scored 16 fantasy points in the first half.
He had 11 points in the opening drive, I believe.
This guy already blowing it. He says Bears and Browns for the rest of the year. Just in the chat.
Oh.
Absolutely not how you do it.
Damn. You're going to miss out on potential 20 DK bucks.
Yeah, people are just absolutely blowing it. Chris Miller, never really watched the Saints game until the past couple of months, but I can confirm Mark Ingram is the worst. He gets it. This guy gets it.
He really is the worst. And, ever since he's come back, we haven't seen any, Kamara's just been okay.
Yeah, he just hurt Kamara. That's all he's done.
That's all he's done is he's crushed Kamara. It turned out Kamara was, and a lot of people laughed at this in the fantasy community, but he was probably the number one sell high candidate in fantasy football.
Right after week 4. No one wanted to do it.
The second that Ingram came back.
Let's see.
Sell high.
Deshaun Watson was dropped in my league. Is it worth dropping Latavius Murray for him, even if I have Luck? I guess you're not going to not play Luck. You might play Luck this week, or you might play Watson this week. Luck against Dallas. I don't hate it, but Watson's
got a better matchup against the Jets, yeah. Watson will be ranked higher. Dallas's defense, I'm bought in completely to what they do.
So this is the week to play Luck.
This is
on DraftKings.
It might be a nice bounce back game for Luck last week, but he just has success inside the division.
This guy has a question, a real question, not something stupid that I ask people not to do. Jamal Williams, Packers, started the game versus Atlanta. Do you think he could be the main person against the Bears due to the fact that Jones can't block, as well as the Pack need to keep Rodgers healthy? It's going to be Jones. It's like this split is what we're going to see. We saw yesterday. Yeah, you can find all the snap counts in the column. 65% Aaron Jones, Jamal Williams 37%. If they get down in that game, I could see them playing a bit more Williams, this gravitating towards 60-40, 55-45. But the goal in that game is going to be to give Aaron Jones the ball and see if he can actually run it.
Yeah.
I don't think you're going to see Williams start.
No. And it was Williams yesterday to start.
And then he did nothing.
Then, of course, because he's not very good. So, and I think that's the bottom line when you're just comparing two. Jones is just much better. So, yeah, we could see Williams pass blocking. Jones can catch too. Jones has had a few good games over the past couple weeks with 3, 4, or 5 catches.
And he's always in line to get the touchdown if there is one.
Well, yeah. Well, McCarthy came in 1 week, and
yes,
McCarthy let Williams the 1 week,
and the Bears D is tough against the run. So it's not a great
just
matchup.
Look what Gurley did. Yeah.
Put it this way. Jones is better than Williams. If Jones can't get it done against the Bears D, what do you think Jamal Williams is going to do?
Exactly, yeah.
Drop Titans D for Bills D? Yes.
Yep.
Josh Gordon or DJ Moore? I don't know if this is the rest of the season, because 2 weeks from now, Josh Gordon gets Tre'Davious White in the Bills D, which is not a good matchup.
Yeah, that's not a good
This
spot.
week they get the Steelers, so you probably want to play him.
Yeah, I would say Gordon would be the guy. And Carolina up against the Saints, it's a potential high shooter too. I'm looking at that total 53.5.
It's super close, but Samuel led the team
Gordon
yesterday.
Yeah.
Any confidence in Goff against Philly next week, or would you keep rolling Andrew Luck? I'd rather play Luck.
Yeah, I think at this point
I think Goff's
in the
fine
season
against the Eagles.
Yeah.
I know it's a terrible matchup for Luck, but Luck's
Luck
had
is
one bad game.
Yeah, exactly. And his bad game has been on the road, right, against Jacksonville. Earlier in the year, I think he had an okay one against Washington. Yeah, you just play Luck. Luck's fine. Goff isn't a good spot bounce back. But
here's a fun one. I need 9.2 points from Kyle Rudolph. How should I be feeling tonight? You should feel like you are, Meaney.
Banned for life.
Banned for life.
That's how you should feel.
Give a shit. It's going to happen. Would you drop Shady McCoy?
Yeah, 100%, man. Just cut him. Forget that guy.
Oh, no. The chat jumped on me. There we go. Stills, Mike Williams, or Josh Reynolds as a pickup? I have them all ranked. It's Josh Reynolds.
Yeah. Good matchup against the Eagles.
And
you're right. Dude, you said earlier, you nailed it. He's not going anywhere.
He's not going out.
Yeah.
Yeah, you can drop McCoy. I don't care about that. Hooper, Evan Ingram. I'll take Austin Hooper still.
Yep. If OBJ doesn't play next week, maybe you can think about Ingram. What do you have? A few catches, led the way.
Okay, so I have Samuels in Yahoo, who is tight end eligible. Do I play him over Jared Cook or keep Jared Cook and flex Samuels? Other options are Peterson, Gus Bus, Baldwin. Thanks, Pat. Jay Jackson, Sutton. Well, sorry, sir. You're banned for life for mentioning Jared Cook. Fuck off my show. Should I be concerned about James White? Yes.
Yeah, for sure.
He'll actually probably be good against the Bills.
Yeah.
It's
go look at the game log recently from him. It's much like Richard, good, bad. But there's just so many backs there now, and I still think he leads their team in red zone targets. But
also, Jalen Samuels a better tight end player than Jared Cook.
Jalen
played the running back at tight end.
Of course, he was. I I ranked him this week as tight end 3.
How do you feel about no trade deadline and trades between playoff teams all the way to the finals? I think you should quit that league because that sounds fucking stupid.
That is awful. That is brutal. Get out of that league immediately.
Full PPR. Flex Reynolds, Alshon, Mack, or Richardson. This is not the ranking show, people. I haven't done the rankings yet.
No, they can't help themselves, man. They just can't. They want to know now. Next week, now.
Have people done rankings yet? No, but who would you take? Fucking calm down. You don't need to set your lineup today.
We're just really kind of diving into the matchups.
Yeah. We just kind of went over.
Yeah.
Let's see.
Reynolds probably going to be dropped in a bunch of spots.
Week 17 defense. Baltimore versus Tampa or Jacksonville versus Washington. I recommend that people go click on that's the one that I've already done. I've done the full rankings for those. I would not take Tampa there. I would go Jacksonville versus Washington.
Yes, I would agree with you there.
Both good matchups, though, even with Johnson.
Even with Johnson. Yeah, whatever. It's like he's a huge upgrade over Sanchez, but it's not like he's great. He's not a great quarterback.
Here we go. This must be a Johnny come lately. There's a report that Tyreek Hill's foot injury is, quote, bad. Do I play Conley over Gordon next week in a full point PPR? I recommend you scroll back to 39-37 when we talked about the stuff.
Yeah, also play Gordon.
Keep Julio or Kamara next year. Probably no Ingram in New Orleans anymore. So
I just like to keep that running back, yeah. But Julio has, he's trying to find the end zone lately. But at the same time, like, what is he 1 and 2 in yards and targets and receptions? He's fine. Like,
they're both good. I would keep Kamara.
I probably where are you gonna write? Who's gonna be your wide receiver 1 next year? Is it gonna be Antonio again? Like Juju just cuts into a lot of what Brown does.
It's probably Hopkins.
Yeah.
Judge Ito better than Tevin Coleman rest of the season? I wouldn't play either of them.
No,
they're both terrible.
They're both brutal. Atlanta's dead last in rushing yards per game.
Dixon or Gus Bus moving forward? I still think we talked about this earlier.
Yeah,
Gus Bus.
We got into that. Gus Bus is a little bit safer. Dixon's better, though.
Should I sit Antonio Brown against the Patriots? Last 2 years, they held him in check. Who are you sitting Antonio Brown for? I would like to know this.
I would like to know that too. If you're listening, could you just tell us in the chat?
Tell us, please.
Yeah. No. Wasn't Brown fine against the Pats last year in that big game? I think he tore his calf. He had that calf injury, but I thought he was fine leading up to it.
Here's a fun one.
The second you sit Antonio Brown, he goes off for 250 yards.
Yeah, of course. You play Antonio Brown. He's had, one actual bad game so far this year, and it was this week.
Yeah. And the Raiders actually been okay against wide receivers. Surprised about that.
Not against Juju.
Not against Juju. But
I know you have Conley higher, but DeMarcus Robinson had more targets. As Hill owner, would you pick up Conley or Robinson? I do the fuck. You looked at the rankings.
Yeah. The rankings are right there. Those questions, they're
fake rankings. They're just there to dupe you. I actually think something differently.
I don't get as many of those questions as you, but I can only imagine how many you get like that.
It's brutal. I had to start. Anyone who asks me that stuff on Twitter, I just mute.
Yeah.
I looked at your rankings. I appreciate people looking at the rankings, but
Sure.
you've done the work.
Yeah.
I did the work, so you don't need to wait for me to come. I've already answered
to respond. Yeah, that's the thing you're trying. Yeah, and so many times, I'll get them too, and it's not as much as you like this guy or this guy, and I get the response back. Well, what about this guy?
You have this guy ranked higher. Are you sure?
Yeah, are you sure? No, I'm
not. Lying to you.
Just messing with you. Yeah, that's a tough one. Trust the rankings, guys. They're there for a reason.
Yeah, if you ask me, trust the rankings.
Yeah.
I wouldn't listen to me.
Yeah.
If you're listening to me, then
Yeah.
the rankings are what they are.
Yeah. You're not trying to fool anyone.
Drop Gurley for Mark Ingram. Oh, this guy gets banned for life every week. Keep Mike Evans going forward or Brandon Cooks?
Well, I wouldn't get rid of any of them.
Yeah, no.
But
maybe it's a
keeper league. Interesting. Going forward.
I keep Cooks.
Yeah, it's really close to me. Evans is disappointing, but he just every year turns out 1,000 yards.
Oh, this guy asked the same question twice.
Oh, well. Banned for life?
Yeah.
Is it an okay question, though?
No, it's that Conley question where
So he's really just...
Francisco, you're banned for life.
He might be trolling.
See, this guy is better. Oil Can says, can't play DraftKings in Arizona and eliminated from the playoffs yesterday, but I'm going to continue to watch and smash that like button because I love the show. I love you, Oil Can 22.
Nice.
That's the type of comment that I'm looking for. Only positive comments.
Respect. We like that one.
How do you feel about the Lacostitute moving forward? I must say, I'm probably done with the Lacostitute.
Yeah,
He's really killed me the last 2 weeks on DraftKings.
Yeah, so I had a lot of exposure to him 2 weeks ago, just a little bit yesterday, but I'm done with him as well. And Ian Thomas is the way I'm going to go. I'm sure he'll be a little bit more this week. He's
This
the
guy-
same price.
This guy says people are trying to trigger me. They've already triggered me.
Yeah,
and I
yeah.
don't think that they're trying to do it. Robert Foster or Zay Jones stack with Josh Allen this week. I'll say Zay Jones still.
I think Jones as well. It just
Why not play a triple stack?
Yeah, just get nuts and triple.
Josh
stack.
Allen is almost better being played by himself because if he ever actually achieves his upside, he's doing it by rushing
Exactly.
touchdowns.
I would agree with you. He's not throwing a lot of touchdowns. Yeah. But if I was to choose one, it would be Zay Jones.
Assuming Breda does play, is Wilson still a pickup? I guess no, but you're not going to know that, so you have to treat him as a pickup.
Yeah, treat him as a pickup, and if Breida doesn't
He would
play,
be number
you
one
will-
on that list, by the way. He's already 2-0.
You just assumed, yeah.
He
and
got
the
like
ownership
80%
is high.
ownership.
Yeah, and if Breida doesn't play, you just lock him in as a solid RB2.
Better pickup if Fournette is suspended. Is Fournette going to be suspended?
Because of that quote,
Yeah.
who knows? I didn't think he was going to get suspended.
If he is, it's
From
Yeldon.
the
We
week
saw that
before.
last week. I was
Hyde.
wrong on Hyde. It would be Yeldon.
Yeah, Hyde's garbage.
I have a one triggered quarterback league. Who to start? Sanchez or Kaepernick? Both very triggered. Sanchez had to go he didn't even hurt his foot yesterday. There was too much
sucks.
pressure.
Yeah, he's just brutal, man.
There's too much pressure. He had to go have a cry in the locker room. He got it out. Then he came back and played fine. Maybe that's what he needs to do every week. Just have a good cry about it.
I don't think
Had
we'll-
his sympathy peacock.
Yeah. You just play him, but
Man, hey Pat, you think Baker can be playable next year? All right, that's enough. I'm out.
yes. Want to see that throw? How dangerous that throw was? That was a dangerous throw.
Nope. Can't do that. That'll do it on the Pat Mayo Experience. Chris Meaney. Check him out on Twitter, The Athletic, and Fantrax. You can check him out at Chris Meaney, too. Just find all of his work up there. You can follow me at The PME, Twitter, Instagram, and Facebook. Want to let everyone know that odds and lines are subject to change. See website for actual odds. If you or anyone you know has a gambling problem and wants help, call 1-800-GAMBLER. Full complement of shows coming this week. All the regulars, and we're going to be filming ahead for the holidays, too. Smash the like button before you get out of here. I'm Pat Mayo. I'll see you next time.